For years, if you flew a drone where you shouldn't, the Federal Aviation Administration usually opted for a phone call: educate first, penalize later. That grace period ended in February 2026. With the release of Compliance and Enforcement Bulletin number 2026-1, the agency officially abandoned the educational warning system, replacing it with mandatory legal action. Inside the agency, the procedural burden has completely flipped. Investigators no longer have to justify taking a pilot to court. Instead, they must explicitly justify to their superiors why they shouldn't pursue formal penalties. The new financial ceiling for a single violation sits at $75,000, and holding a formal remote pilot license isn't a prerequisite to feel that impact. The agency can levy those fines against unlicensed recreational flyers and their companies alike. Previously, infractions were typically treated as either a regulatory issue, where you might lose your certificate, or a financial one, where you paid a fine. Now, the baseline approach is to pursue both maximum civil penalties and immediate certificate revocations at the exact same time. The most severe consequence embedded in this policy extends far beyond the drone itself. A single unmanned violation can trigger the simultaneous cancellation of a drone certificate, a commercial pilot license, and a ground instructor certificate. For professionals with traditional aircraft ratings, a drone mistake can permanently ground them, instantly erasing their livelihood. Under this aggressive enforcement ceiling, the operational margin for error for everyday commercial drone service providers has been reduced to absolute zero. This strict policy shift didn't happen in a vacuum. It was driven by a series of high-risk flights between 2023 and 2025 that severely endangered public safety and interfered with other aircraft. In April 2023, an operator flew a drone near emergency response aircraft during an active wildfire. That interference forced critical firefighting assets to ground themselves, allowing the fire to spread, and resulted in a massive $36,770 fine. Another pilot incurred a $20,371 penalty for flying into a highly secure, restricted VIP environment in January 2025. During the 2023 Super Bowl, an operator breached the tightly secured perimeter around a major sporting event, leading to a $14,790 penalty. And multiple remote pilots have seen their licenses suspended for operating drones over densely populated crowds during active NFL games. These catastrophic risk scenarios proved to regulators that the educational approach was failing. The repeated near misses directly necessitated the aggressive law enforcement-style crackdown implemented in 2026. The bulletin establishes 3 specific operational boundaries that guarantee immediate legal action. The first is endangering the public. This includes unauthorized flights over people, operating weaponized drones, or illegal beyond visual line of sight, or BVLOS, operations, which occur when a pilot flies a drone out of their direct visual range without a special authorization. The second trigger focuses on airspace violations. Operating without a remote ID, a digital license plate that broadcasts the drone's location, interfering with airport operations, or busting temporary flight restrictions will immediately flag an operator. Because these specific triggers are tied directly to an executive order on airspace sovereignty, crossing any of these boundaries instantly bypasses the compliance track and guarantees formal prosecution. The most complex threat to operators is the mobile NOTAM, specifically Notice to Air Missions FTC 64375, which is designed to protect moving federal assets and VIP convoys. This restriction creates a strict moving airspace with a 3,000-foot lateral and 1,000-foot vertical standoff requirement. The rule is highly ambiguous, applying to vaguely defined associated escorts. Because these security perimeters move unpredictably, real-time avoidance is nearly impossible for civilian pilots. Under the old rules, accidentally flying near an unmarked federal convoy would typically result in a warning phone call and a brief education on checking flight restrictions. Today, this invisible moving bubble turns accidental, well-intentioned flights into mandatory $75,000 legal traps. The defense of "I didn't know" has been effectively eliminated. The traditional risk management strategy of treating minor drone infractions as a simple cost of doing business is dead. Operational protocols must adapt today. Pilots now require extreme intelligence cross-referencing. Relying on a single flight app is no longer sufficient to spot pop-up restrictions. Operators must maintain bulletproof documentation, rigorously logging all pre-flight planning, airspace checks, and authorization requests. High-risk operations near stadiums or complex urban airspace now require formal legal consultation before the drone ever leaves the ground. In a federal investigation where the burden of proof is flipped against the pilot, meticulous paperwork and legal preparation are the only valid shields against financial ruin. While the policy is severe, the ultimate test will be whether the FAA actually possesses the investigative resources to enforce it at scale. Regardless of agency resources, the hammer is officially raised. Survival in the 2026 airspace now demands perfect operational compliance.